Well, I hope you bitches are ready.
My name is Bianca Del Rio. I'm 37 years old.
Bianca Del Rio is an insult comic and the drag persona of entertainer Roy Haylock. She was a fixture of the New York drag scene before achieving nationwide success by winning Season 6 of RuPaul's Drag Race. Since being crowned America's Next Drag Superstar, she has starred in 2 movies, her very own web series, and has had several stand-up specials.
We were waiting for talent, kind of like Season 7. So the thing is...
Bianca revels in being hateful and divisive in her comedy.
After seeing you in drag, I realize now why Seattle has a high suicide rate.
She self-describes as a bigot, and often refers to herself as a troll.
You racist? Yes. Listen!
Despite this seemingly being a recipe for disaster in the modern era, Bianca boasts the most followers of any Drag Race queen on Instagram, with an impressive 2.1 million. And, in 2019, New York Magazine named her the most powerful drag queen in America. In this video essay, I will be exploring how the character of Bianca Del Rio has successfully turned bigotry into a winning brand. To be able to accurately discuss Bianca Del Rio's success, we must first look at the art of drag and what it entails. Drag has been a term since the late 19th century, and was first used to describe men wearing women's petticoats that dragged behind them. The culture of drag evolved throughout the 1900s. In the late 1920s, the art of drag became linked with homosexuality, and in the 1950s, drag queens began performing in clubs and in bars. Although modern drag can be considered high art, the earliest forms of drag were vaudevillian in nature, as it parodied femininity in a vampish way. Legendary Queen Divine became the focus of several John Waters films in the 1970s, in which she delivered grotesque, raunchy, and scandalous performances.
You stand convicted of assholism.
Queens in the 80s and 90s, like RuPaul and Lady Bunny, continued to shock the world with risque and offensive humor in the name of gender subversion. In the year 1990, the documentary Paris is Burning introduced the world to the concept of reading.
Now you want to talk about reading? Let's talk about reading.
A comedic style of insulting that has long been ingrained in the underground ball culture. As seen on RuPaul's Drag Race, reading is fundamental to drag as a whole.
Look at the fruits of my labor. A foolhardy chunk who makes her living on the pole, and a brainless wonder who thinks the way to get curves is to stick Charmin in her drawers or to inject cement into her derriere.
Bianca takes reading to the next level with, as she describes it, her Rolodex of hate. A group of creative insults that she keeps stored in her mind, which allows her to pull out biting and hilarious insults off the cuff. Bianca Del Rio compares her style of comedy to Don Rickles, a legendary insult comic in the 1970s. This style of comedy is not largely prevalent in the modern day, except in certain pockets such as the Friars Club in New York City or the Comedy Central roasts.
Jeff, the only way you've ever made a woman wet is when she helped roll you back into the ocean.
In the present day, in a culture of political correctness, it is hard for this offensive style of humor to find mainstream success. However, in a popular pocket like drag, which is ever on the rise thanks to Drag Race, Bianca has found a perfect avenue to achieve success.
I was working on a theatrical production, which required them having a drag performer in the show.
GMA and...
Being a drag queen creates a unique opportunity for Bianca. While she may seem to be the meanest person in the room, she also comes from a position that is societally not very powerful.
I hate myself. I mean, look at the choices I made. I mean, today I'm like, oh, I should have got a real job.
Being gay, femme, and Latino puts Roy in a position where he mostly is punching up.
Humanity with it. I mean, you want to be a cold bitch? Be a cold bitch, but that's a tough fucking job. I do it on stage. I can't do it in real life.
In fact, as seen from the workroom moments of Drag Race, and as described by many of the queens she has worked with, Bianca is genuinely a very caring and kind person. Bianca Del Rio has mastered the art of drag, and understands it more from its campy origins. Her over-exaggerated makeup around her eyes shows her off more as a parody or an exaggeration of the female identity. She's not trying to be pretty or to pass, but instead wants to play a role. Susan Sontag describes camp as seeing everything in quotation marks, and that accurately suits Bianca's style of drag, as she plays at being a woman, but often self-describes as a man in a wig.
Well, you always say, I'm a man in a wig and I don't know where my talent ends. You know what? I think your talent never ends. You can do anything.
Although performers like Peppermint, who identifies as a trans woman, or Gigi Goode, who recently came out as gender fluid, have become one with their drag personas, Bianca distinguishes herself from Roy Haylock as being more of a mouthy caricature. In the movie Hurricane Bianca, Roy plays Richard Martinez, a shy schoolteacher who comes alive as the character Bianca, allowing him to express his dark side. The film's camp sensibility portrays the two as two completely different entities, as Richard cannot seem to conjure Bianca without a stiff drink or a wig to get in character.
Hi, I'm here to interview for the science teacher position.
What's your name?
Bianca Del Rio.
Sigmund Freud discusses in his analysis of humor, Bianca manages to get away with most of her more off-colored jokes because she is really the ultimate rebel archetype.
The Latino community pays their bills, baby.
I wish, you know what I wish? The Latino community would pay their own f***ing bills.
She may be making jokes at the expense of people's race, size, or sexuality, but there is a tacit understanding that the joke is coming from someone who's at the same level. She has succeeded as an individual because of her ability to also laugh at herself and not take herself too seriously, a quality that makes her more likable.
I just want to tell Bianca something that she hasn't heard all week. You look good.
There have certainly been moments where she has crossed the line, such as her jokes at the expense of her fellow queen, Blair St. Clair's sexual assault. In this moment, Bianca seemed to be more of the parent telling the joke at the expense of the child, rather than the other way around. However, even in the wake of criticism, she sticks to her brand, not apologizing for herself, and in turn, staying genuine to the bigoted character that she is.
She accepted that that's what she got. She didn't just go, "You're all stupid. You don't get to be offended." Actually, I don't know. I don't really know what her response was. I actually don't. Those may have been her exact words. Yeah. But when I say something and people are offended, I just go, you know what? Okay.
It certainly is controversial, but most people dismiss it as Bianca being Bianca, and she is respected for not issuing a fake apology, as many seem to do. Del Rio is highly considered both as one of the greatest drag queens and one of the greatest insult comics of our time. In the drag world, her name is synonymous with snappy one-liners, and she remains one of the most dominant winners of Drag Race, never falling into the bottom and winning several challenges,
Del Rio,
all while helping her fellow competitors along the way.
You are the winner of this week's main challenge.
I'm going to Hawaii.
Professionalism has earned her incredible respect in the New York drag scene, long before her television appearance, and now she has the world's attention. She exhibits the strength of having a brand.
On a lighter note, I'd like to let you know about my family. My mother is from Cuba, and my dad is from Honduras, which basically means I have a large dick, no credit, and a tendency to take things that don't belong to me.
People pay specifically to be offended by her, so there is a no-holds-barred sense of humor at her shows, and she has free rein to cross lines.
Let me just tell you this right now. I like to say something hateful. I like to draw the line, turn around, cross it, and snort it. So f*** you. That's what you're paid for.
Not only this, but she embodies camp in her look and attitude. She has earned her role as most powerful drag queen in the country, and at 44, shows no signs of stopping now.
I'm not threatened by you or your thoughts or your views. You're entitled to your opinion, just like I'm entitled to my opinion. But when people say you can't say this or you can't say that, I laugh. I can say whatever I want. You don't have to like it, but that's okay. And I think that the younger people also with my brand, they feel the need to just say something hateful for me to attack them online, which is the thing that's laughable, because why would I waste my time trying to explain something to someone that I've never met and I'm not gonna meet? You know, I mean, I don't take myself seriously. I mean, I'm a man in a wig, for Christ's sake. Like, I'm not curing cancer here. I'm not your politician. I'm not your president. You know, I'm not anyone that you voted for. So f*** off. You don't like it, move on.